I want to thank the chairman. I want to thank both of you for being here today and for your service. I wanted to follow up and ask about, General, I believe you testified about the effectiveness of the Syrian Kurds right now in Syria in pushing back ISIL. And are we providing support and weapons to the Syrian Kurds? And what assistance are we giving them, given that, as I heard your testimony when Senator Fisher asked me, we only have, as I understand it, 4 or 5 of U.S. trained Syrian fighters in this fight. So what are we doing to support the Syrian Kurds if they are effectively pushing back ISIL on the ground?
We are providing them a tremendous amount of air support, which is what they wanted most. As you'll recall, ma'am, this is the element, well, a portion of this element were the folks that hung on at Kobani valiantly. And it was doubtful at that point as to whether or not they would be able to survive in that environment and continue to do things. Well, they continued on, and they increased their size and activity, and they've made a significant difference in the northeast part of the country. And so what they've asked from us over time is sustained air power, sustained strikes. And they have benefited from those strikes. And because of their aggressiveness, they've made a tremendous difference in the Northeast.
So just to be clear, they haven't asked for arms. And how does Turkey, how is Turkey acting on the ground here in terms of obviously, first of all, I want to know, what have the Syrian Kurds asked for that we haven't given them? I understand the air support, but also how do you view Turkey's role in all of this? Because as I see it right now, this 4 or 5 U.S. trained fighters, let's not kid ourselves, that's a joke. And so if they're the only force on the ground doing something right now, what more can we do to help them?
Up to this point, they have not asked us for arms, but it doesn't mean that they won't, ma'am. I think, and of course, you know, as we go forward, there are things that that we can do to continue to help as they try to get supplies into northern Syria, work with the Kurds in northern Iraq to help make sure that we have lines of communication that facilitate that, and we're doing that. They will also need to partner with Syrian Arabs in the area, and they're doing that. And we are working with Syrian Arabs, developing relationships as well. And so I think it's a combination of all of these forces that are going to make a difference going forward. And again, we expect our footprint with the new Syrian forces to grow over time.
So can you help me on Turkey? What role Turkey is playing or not playing here that we would like to see Turkey play?
As you know, Senator, Turkey has just recently come on board and given us access to their bases, which is a tremendous capability. It shortens the legs of that our fighter pilots will have to fly. It allows us to be more responsive, and they also are flying strikes in our formations and focused on ISIL elements in Syria thus far. And so they are adding value. And what we've asked them to do as well is to continue to tighten up or abate the flow of foreign fighters and lethal accelerants coming across the border.
So I want to ask before we leave, what role is Iran playing right now in Syria? How much support are they providing for the Assad regime? How do we evaluate their significance in fueling this conflict? And also their support for Hezbollah. What role is Hezbollah playing in terms of supporting the Assad regime?
Well, we know that Iran has been instrumental in providing support to Syria throughout, and we see increasingly that they would like to provide, they want to provide more support. What that will mean in the future, I don't know, but they are active in Syria.
So perhaps if they had more cash and money, they would like to provide more support to the Assad regime.
That would be my assumption would be that would be the case.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to also ask, as our issues with these trained fighters, are we going to provide if they're under attack, I guess we got 4 or 5 of them, but if for some reason we were able to get more of them trained, what are we going to do to support them or protect them?
We will provide air support and ISR to Overwatch and air support to protect them. And with the first class that we put in, we have done that already. So we are committed to doing that going forward.
Thank you.